Alex, for bringing a new demographic to the sport. I really appreciate it. I think it's great. I know sometimes it's tough when you're playing against a home crowd, but I think that it's great for the sport. So keep being enthusiastic and keep rooting for your player. Yeah.
Hey everyone! We are working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content and it is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button right now as we proceed. Hit that subscribe button right now because what we are about to break down together is one of the most jaw-dropping, logic-defying, narrative-destroying performances in recent women's tennis history, and if you leave this page without watching every single second of this breakdown, you are going to be the only person in your friend group who does not understand what just happened on that center court in Dubai. COCO Gauff did not just win a quarterfinal today. She did not just advance to the next round. She walked out onto that court, looked one of the most dangerous rising stars in the entire sport directly in the eyes, and proceeded to dismantle her so completely, so ruthlessly, and so efficiently that the scoreline almost does not feel real when you read it for the first time. 6-love, 6-2. A bagel and a breadstick. Against Alexandra EALA. In a match that everybody, and we mean everybody, had circled on the calendar as the clash of the tournament. So pull up a chair, silence your notifications, and let us talk about what actually happened out there, because the highlights you scrolled past on social media do not even begin to capture the full, terrifying story. Let us go back 48 hours and remember the narrative that was being constructed around this match, because the context matters enormously here. The tennis world had spent 2 full days building Alexandra EALA up as the perfect tactical opponent for COCO Gauff. Analysts were drawing up diagrams. Commentators were explaining in great detail how EALA's baseline intelligence, her grinding style, her remarkable ability to win matches without relying on free points made her a uniquely dangerous threat. This was supposed to be the match where a brilliant young mind outthought a physical powerhouse. This was supposed to be the chess match that proved tennis IQ can neutralize raw athleticism. The crowd was buzzing. The EALA army was loud and present and absolutely ready for their moment. And then the match started, and within approximately 45 minutes, every single one of those carefully constructed narratives had been reduced to smoking rubble. The raw numbers from this quarterfinal are genuinely difficult to look at if you were rooting for EALA, and we are going to go through them methodically because each individual statistic tells its own miniature horror story. Let us start with EALA's serve, which was supposed to be the foundation of her tactical plan. She landed 61% of her first serves into the box, a perfectly respectable number by any standard measure of the game. In her previous matches throughout this tournament, getting the ball in play was enough to initiate the kind of grinding baseline exchanges where her tennis IQ gives her a decisive advantage. But here is where everything falls apart in the most spectacular fashion. Her first serve win percentage in this match was 32%. 32. That means that nearly 70% of the time that Alexandra EALA landed her primary weapon, she lost the point anyway. Just let that number sit with you for a moment, because it is genuinely extraordinary. It is the statistical equivalent of a heavyweight boxer landing his best punch and watching his opponent not even flinch. The reason that number is so catastrophically low comes down to one simple, brutal truth. COCO Gauff looked at EALA's first serve, processed it in real time, and decided it simply was not dangerous enough to respect. She was stepping so far inside the baseline on the return that she was essentially ambushing EALA before the young star even finished her service motion. Gauff was reading the ball toss, loading up with massive aggressive cuts, and completely taking the initiative away from the server. EALA did not hit a single ace in the entire match. Not one. Which means she had absolutely no mechanism to push Gauff back, no way to buy herself space, no way to reset the dynamic that was slowly suffocating her game. And when your first serve is getting treated like a batting practice fastball by a Grand Slam champion, the psychological pressure that transfers to your second serve becomes absolutely crushing. The previous round, EALA had posted a remarkable 74% win rate on her second serve, one of the best numbers of the tournament. Against Gauff, that number collapsed to 40%. She was terrified. You could see it. Every second serve became a negotiation between hitting it hard enough to be dangerous and soft enough to actually land in the box, and GAUFF was waiting on the other side of that negotiation with zero patience and maximum aggression. And now here is the part of this story that should genuinely send a chill down the spine of every player remaining in this draw, because everything we just described, the serve domination, the return aggression, the complete neutralization of EALA's baseline strategy, all of it happened while COCO GAUFF was simultaneously fighting her own demons on the service line. GAUFF hit 8 double faults in this match. 8. In a match that lasted only 14 total games. Her first serve percentage was a struggling 55%, meaning she was missing nearly half of her first deliveries. By every conventional piece of tennis logic, a player who is gifting away that many free points and cannot consistently find the service box should be dragged into a messy, exhausting, complicated battle. That is how tennis is supposed to work. Mistakes get punished. Free points get converted. Momentum shifts. Except none of that happened, because COCO GAUFF is apparently playing a slightly different sport than everyone else on the WTA Tour. When GAUFF did manage to land her first serve, she won a staggering 74% of those points. When she was forced to the second serve, the situation where most players become cautious, tentative, and vulnerable, she won 64% of those points. She was hitting the ball so ferociously heavy, moving with such explosive lateral speed, covering such an absurd amount of court that EALA was completely paralyzed regardless of how the rally started. The 8 double faults were real. The 55% first serve percentage was real. And none of it mattered even slightly, because whenever the ball was in play, GAUFF was the undisputed, unchallengeable dictator of every single exchange. She won 55 total points in this match to EALA's 33. A plus 22-point differential that represents a level of dominance you simply do not see in elite quarterfinal tennis. But if you want the single statistic that most vividly captures the psychological devastation of what happened on that court, it is the consecutive games one number buried at the bottom of the data sheet. COCO GAUFF won 10 consecutive games. 10 in a row. Imagine being Alexandra EALA in that scenario with total clarity and full empathy, because it is genuinely a staggering thing to experience. You walk onto center court for what everyone has told you is your biggest match. The energy is electric. Your fans are loud. You are ready. And then the first set ends 6-love before you have had a chance to exhale. You sit down in your chair during the changeover, you try to reset, you tell yourself it is a new set and a new opportunity, and you immediately fall down 4-love in the second. 10 consecutive games without winning once. For nearly an hour, EALA was standing on that court trying everything, changing her positioning, altering her patterns, going to the net, staying back, and finding absolutely nothing that worked. GAUFF's maximum consecutive games won was 10. EALA's was 2, and those 2 games came at the very end of the match when GAUFF had already emotionally and competitively checked out and was simply waiting for the handshake. The big point statistics complete the portrait of a player operating at a level of ruthless efficiency that is genuinely rare to witness. GAUFF generated 9 breakpoint opportunities on EALA's serve throughout the match and converted 6 of them, a 66% conversion rate that speaks to the cold-blooded mentality of a player who does not waste opportunities when they present themselves. Conversely, EALA was given 2 breakpoint chances due to GAUFF's own double faults and managed to convert only 1. Even when the American handed her an opening, the intimidation factor of GAUFF's defensive coverage made it nearly impossible to pull the trigger with confidence. What does all of this mean going forward? For GAUFF, it means she is heading into the semifinals carrying a level of momentum that is almost frightening to contemplate. She just proved that she does not even need her best tennis to deliver a 6-love, 6-2 performance against a highly touted opponent. If her serve finds its rhythm in the next round, if those double faults start cleaning up even partially, the rest of this draw has a genuine problem on their hands. For EALA, this is not a career-defining loss in the negative sense, but it is absolutely a career-defining lesson. The 32% first serve win rate is the number she needs to frame and hang on her practice court wall, because it is telling her exactly what she needs to hear. She cannot grind her way past the elite monsters of the WTA Tour without a weapon that earns her free points. She needs a serve that makes opponents respect her, that creates space, that opens up the court. She is smart enough to understand this. The question is whether she can develop it fast enough to compete at the very highest level before the window starts to close. COCO Gauff is not just good right now. She is operating in a different dimension, playing with a different set of physics, and the rest of the women's tour is going to have to fundamentally rethink their approach if they want to find an answer. Dubai is watching something special unfold in real time, and we are here for every single second of it. Now we want to hear from you. COCO fans, how validated do you feel right now watching her silence every single doubter with a 10-game winning streak? And EALA Army, is this a painful but necessary growing pain, or are you genuinely concerned about where her game goes from here? Drop your unfiltered thoughts in the comments right now, smash that like button to push this analysis to every tennis fan who needs to see it, and subscribe to this channel so you do not miss our semifinal breakdown. This tournament is far from over.